Welcome to Senior Health and Happiness, where we believe that aging can be graceful, strong, and joyful. Let's take care of your health, one simple habit at a time. Many older adults spend long stretches of time alone, and over time, that isolation can begin to feel normal. But research shows that social isolation is far more than a feeling. It's a real health risk. It can quietly affect your mood, memory, heart health, and even your longevity. And yet, most people don't talk about it until it's already taken a toll. In today's video, we'll look at how isolation creeps in, why it's more common after 60, and most importantly, what simple steps you can take to stay socially connected, even if you live alone. Stick around to the end. These quiet shifts in connection may be small, but they're powerful, and your health depends on them. 1. Social isolation isn't always obvious, but it's common. Let's begin with something that's often overlooked. Many older adults don't feel isolated, at least not at first. They may say, "I'm just enjoying quiet time," or "I don't need much company." And for some, that's true. But for many others, what starts as quiet comfort slowly becomes something more dangerous. Social isolation doesn't always look like loneliness. You might not feel sad. You may still chat with a cashier, wave to a neighbour, or see family occasionally. But true connection, the kind that keeps the mind sharp and the heart full, may be missing. Here's what isolation really means. Not having regular, meaningful interactions with people who know you, who ask how you're doing, and genuinely care about the answer. It means long stretches of time without conversations that go beyond the weather or a quick check-in. And for many seniors, this becomes the norm, not by choice but by slow circumstance. It often happens gradually. Maybe a spouse passed away, maybe friends moved, maybe health issues make it harder to get out. One day becomes two becomes a week. Before long, silence becomes routine. The thing is, isolation doesn't knock on the door and announce itself. It settles in quietly, after retirement, after the holidays, after mobility changes. And because it doesn't feel dramatic, it's easy to ignore. But we can't ignore it anymore. Studies show that more than 1 in 4 adults over 65 are socially isolated, and that number climbs with age. It's a silent, growing issue, and it's one that often goes unnoticed until it affects physical and mental health. You might be wondering, "But I'm not depressed, I'm doing fine." That may be true, but isolation isn't always about how you feel today. It's about how your health and well-being shift over time without regular connection. The human brain, even in older age, thrives on stimulation. A good conversation, a shared meal, a small laugh, they do more than warm the heart. They protect it. And this isn't just about preventing emotional pain. This is about protecting memory, reducing your risk of stroke or heart problems, and even increasing your lifespan. The good news is that recognizing isolation is already a powerful first step. Once you see it, truly see it, you can begin to change it. It doesn't require a big social circle or a packed calendar. What matters is consistency and care, just one meaningful interaction at a time. In the Tart. Next section, we'll explore exactly why isolation is more dangerous than it seems, and how it affects both body and mind. Let's keep going. This is important. 2. The hidden health effects of isolation. We often think of isolation as just an emotional state, something that might make us feel a little sad, maybe lonely. But what many people don't realize is that prolonged isolation isn't just about feelings. It has real measurable effects on your physical and cognitive health. Let's start with your brain. When we regularly interact with others, our brains stay active. We recall names, follow stories, express emotions, and respond in real time. These are all small cognitive exercises that keep the mind engaged. But when those interactions stop, so does that stimulation. And over time, this can lead to slower thinking, memory lapses, and a greater risk of cognitive decline, even dementia. Isolation has also been linked to depression and anxiety, not just because of sadness, but because being alone too often creates a sense of being disconnected from purpose, from routine, from meaning. That can lead to sleep problems, fatigue, and a reduced desire to take care of oneself, including eating well, staying active, or managing medications. But it doesn't stop at mental health. Isolation can actually affect the entire body. People who are socially isolated have a higher risk of heart disease and stroke. Why? One reason is that isolation increases stress hormones like cortisol. Chronic stress can raise blood pressure, elevate inflammation, and damage blood vessels over time. That's why isolation has been compared to other major health risks, even smoking or obesity. It also weakens the immune system. Without regular contact and interaction, the body seems to fall into a low alert state. Studies have found that isolated individuals are more likely to catch infections and take longer to recover. And then there's mobility. When we don't have social motivation, a reason to get dressed, leave the house, move our bodies, we often stop doing those things. That leads to muscle weakening, reduced balance, and an increased risk of falls. It's a cycle. Isolation leads to less activity, which leads to more physical decline, which then makes it even harder to reconnect. The most concerning part: these effects build slowly, often unnoticed. A little fatigue here, a bit of forgetfulness there. They don't feel urgent, until they are. But here's the most important thing to remember: these risks are not irreversible. Just as isolation can quietly erode your health, connection, even small, consistent moments of it, can begin to restore it. Your brain can reawaken, your mood can lift, your body can regain strength. It's never too late to reconnect. In the next part of this video, we'll shift from awareness to action and explore small, meaningful steps you can take to build real connection into your life. Again, even if you live alone. Let's look at what's possible. You have more power than you think. 3. Simple ways to reconnect, even if you live alone. Let's be honest, rebuilding connection can feel overwhelming, especially if it's been months or even years since you've had regular contact with others. But here's something that might surprise you. You don't need a big social circle or a full calendar to feel connected. What you need is consistency, purpose, and small steps that feel natural and achievable. First, let's lower the pressure. You don't have to become a social butterfly overnight. You don't need to attend weekly gatherings or strike up conversations with strangers if that doesn't feel right. What matters more is one meaningful connection. Someone who hears you, someone you check in with regularly. Start simple. Could you call a family member once a week? Maybe you used to talk often but fell out of rhythm. A short call on Sunday afternoons or a voice message mid-week can re-establish a sense of closeness. Don't worry about what to say. Sometimes even just sharing a small story from your day opens the door to something bigger. If you have internet access, consider joining a virtual group. There are online book clubs, chair yoga sessions, or even coffee chats designed specifically for older adults. You don't have to leave your home, and you can choose groups based on your interests or comfort level. Prefer in-person connection? Start with low-commitment opportunities. Maybe it's attending a free community class once a month, or joining a walking group that meets nearby. Even brief conversations before or after those gatherings can lift your spirits more than you expect. And don't overlook existing relationships. Is there a neighbour you wave to but never really talk with? Could you start with a friendly hello, or offer to water their plants when they're away? Small gestures build trust, and trust builds connection. Even writing can help. Sending a postcard, a letter, or even an email brings someone into your world, and it often invites a response. The goal here is not to be more social, it's to feel more connected. That connection supports your brain, your heart, your emotional well-being, and it gives you something to look forward to, which by itself can change how you experience the day. It's okay if it feels awkward at first. It's okay if your first effort doesn't lead to a deep bond. What matters is that you tried. And tomorrow you try again. Because the human spirit doesn't need dozens of relationships. It needs just 1 or 2 reliable, caring points of contact. People who remember your name, your voice, your story. In the next and final part of this video, we'll talk about how to keep those connections alive, even during difficult times, and how to remind yourself that you're never truly alone. Let's finish this together. 4. You're not alone. There's always a way to reconnect. If there's one message I want to leave with you today, it's this. You are not alone. No matter how long it's been since you felt close to someone, no matter how disconnected your life may feel right now, there is always a way back to connection. And it often starts with one small decision. Social isolation may feel like a wall, but it's rarely as solid as it seems. Sometimes all it takes is a knock, one call, one hello, one yes to an invitation, to begin breaking it down. And here's the truth. Reconnecting doesn't always mean meeting new people. It can be about reclaiming old relationships, reaching out to someone you used to talk to regularly but haven't in a while. Maybe it's a former co-worker, a cousin or a neighbour who's also feeling a little more alone than they'd admit. Even if you've moved or your community has changed, connection is still possible. Many local libraries, community centres, senior groups and churches offer programmes specifically for older adults, and many of them are low cost or free. You don't have to go every week, you just have to try once. If transportation or mobility is an issue, don't dismiss digital connection. I know technology can feel intimidating, but you don't have to be an expert. Many groups will guide you through setting up Zoom or joining a private Facebook group. There are even phone-based support groups for people who don't use the internet at all. You can build connection through your voice, even from your living room. And if reaching out still feels hard, try something even gentler. Become someone others can reach out to. Volunteer to check on another senior in your building. Write a card to someone in a care home. These acts of kindness build bridges in both directions. The most powerful part? Once you take one step toward connection, your confidence grows. You start to feel a shift, not just emotionally but physically. Your energy lifts, your sleep improves, your memory feels sharper, and life feels just a little more like it used to. Don't wait for someone else to rescue you from isolation. Don't believe the lie that it's too late, or that people have moved on. Most people are just waiting for someone to go first, and maybe that someone can be you. You are still needed, still remembered, still worthy of deep, meaningful connection. Let's wrap up this video with a few final thoughts, and a reminder that your next chapter can be full of warmth, purpose, and belonging. Let's take a quiet breath together and reflect on what we've just explored. Social isolation isn't just about being alone, it's about feeling disconnected from the world around you. And while it often arrives slowly and quietly, its impact can be deep. It can touch your mood, your memory, your motivation, and even your health. But here's what matters most. You are not stuck there. You're not too old. It's not too late. And no matter how long it's been since you felt close to someone, the path back to connection is always open. Today, we've talked about how isolation builds over time, how it affects the body and mind, and how even one small meaningful interaction a week can shift everything: your energy, your spirit, your sense of purpose. And we've shared simple ways to begin again, A phone call, a conversation, a walk, a yes to something new. These aren't dramatic gestures. They're quiet decisions that tell your body and mind, I still belong here. Because you do. Connection isn't about having a busy social life. It's about feeling seen, heard and valued. You deserve that. And there are people, family, friends, neighbours, even strangers, who would be grateful to connect with you if only you reached out. So what's one step you can take today? One person you can call? One group you can look up? Write it down, make a plan, and give yourself permission to begin. Thank you for spending your time with Senior Health and Happiness. Until next time, stay strong, stay curious, and most of all, stay kind to yourself. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to give it a like, subscribe to our channel, and share it with someone you care about. We'd love to hear from you in the comments. What's one small habit you're adding to your daily routine? Your story might inspire someone else.